Welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board. It is OU Texas week, the best week of the season, the funnest week of the season. I believe for both sides would concur with that. The only thing they will agree upon is that it's a fun week altogether. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, we're going to break down the game for you guys. We're going to answer your super chat questions. So make sure if you want to be moved to the top, you put your super chat. Doesn't matter if it's 99 cents, $1, $10, 15, 20, 30, whatever. However you see fit to get your question moved to the top of the kind of the board as it goes. That chat goes really, really fast. Make sure you put those super chats in. We're going to talk about the OU game. We're going to answer your super chats. We're going to talk recruiting as Oklahoma continues to stay hot in the 26 and 27 seasons. And we're going to talk about, obviously, the main topic everybody wants to talk about, John Mateer. Before we do all that, Parker, let's thank our sponsors.
Yes, and that starts with Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, of course, folks, has been the OKC area's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars, and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Also, this pod brought to you in part by Jana King, the greatest team to ever clean and a proud partner of OU Athletics, in addition to us here at OU Insider. There's a fruit fly on my microphone. Why is there a fruit fly in my house? This is problematic.
You have some bad bananas.
I don't think so, but I'll have to double check.
Bad
Anyway,
buns.
Jana King, folks, is the greatest team to ever clean and a proud partner of OU Athletics, delivering spotless results and solutions from stadiums to any size business across the country. So check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janaking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, a word from Ridge, folks. It is time for you to meet the last wallet you'll ever buy.
It's awesome.
Check this sucker out. Look at how compact that is. It holds up to 12 cards. It holds cash. It's got RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpocketers. And it's got this unique, slim, modern design that holds all of the things that are normally going to occupy your traditional, much bulkier wallet. Ever since I got my Ridge wallet, man, you can hardly feel it there in your pocket. Whereas the wallet that I used to use, oh, you could feel it, especially when you're wearing shorts. When you're wearing shorts, a traditional wallet is probably tugging at your waistline a little bit. Not the Ridge wallet, folks. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with the Ridge AirTag attachment, I should say, you'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. Now, Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. So no matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. Now, for a limited time, our listeners are going to get 10% off at Ridge by using code OU Insider at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code OU Insider, and you're all set. Now, after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
All right, Parker, how do you want to get going? First off, I think we need to thank Brandon Fox for that amazing super chat. I don't think he said anything, though. He just donated, a bill to us, if you will.
Wow, hello. Thank you, Brandon Fox. You are the
You're
man.
a stud. You are a stud. Thank you so much. We are blessed. Thank you.
The super chats will stack up quick, folks. So if you want to make sure your question gets addressed over the course of the stream, make sure you send it to us in super chat function. We guarantee that all super chats will be read and answered.
Let's go. Let's start them out, Parker.
Drake X tossed us $2. Thank you, Drake. The chance Mateer plays from both of you kings. And this is a natural place to start, Brandon. John Mateer, no shock to anyone, is listed as questionable on the initial availability report. Everyone should have expected this. If you didn't expect this, I don't know what to tell you. Brent Venables and that OU staff are going to keep this as close to the vest as possible leading up
Mm-hmm.
to game time. And what that means is he will probably be questionable again tomorrow and again on Friday and a game time decision on Saturday. So the chance Mateer plays, I feel really good about it right now, Brandon. I feel really
Yep.
good just because for one thing, every milestone, every watermark this or watershed that he's needed to hit throughout the recovery process, he's hit so far. Dr. Stephen Shin is indeed the GOAT. And also, what do we know about John Mateer, man? He's as tough as they come. You know, he
Yep.
wants to play this game. And so, what does all of that add up to for me? I would say there's at least an 80% chance that John Mateer sees the field on Saturday. With the magnitude of this game, I just can't fathom Mateer standing there on the sidelines, at least not without giving the training staff and the coaching staff a hell of a fight if they try to hold him out. I think John Mateer's going to play on Saturday, and Vegas thinks so too if you've paid attention to the way that the line has moved today.
Yeah. So the weird part is that, I was watching Josh Pate, right? And I was watching obviously Crane and Company. I was watching JD Piquel. They talked about the line being set as if Mateer was playing at and Texas was favored to start, which I thought was a weird deal. A lot of the general public, now that it's become more common knowledge that Mateer is getting closer and closer, you see a lot of the general public starting to move that line. The early betters, the big money betters, they were moving the line closer to Oklahoma as well. Again, it started out 3.5, so there was a lot of guys for it to get to that 1.5 mark, starting this morning and then flipping over to 1.5 Oklahoma. A lot of the big money had to have started to bet Oklahoma to begin with as well, starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I think a lot of people feel like Oklahoma is the team. It was really interesting to me that Vegas went with Oklahoma or with Texas to be 3.5. But as you talked about the markers, I don't know if, I mean, this is pretty common, not really common knowledge, but I'll just say this, like, they're really working on his grip strength right now.
Hmm.
Um, they're using really creative tactics. I'm told like little stress balls, Nerf balls, all kinds of stuff to really gain strength back in his hand right now. So it's he's got to continue to pass these markers, folks. I mean, it's not a guarantee he's going to play, but I think everybody saw a guy that played for 3.5 quarters with a broken hand. The hand is not broken anymore. The bone is fused. He's cleared to practice at this point, give or take, whatever he's doing the markers to hit. So he's cleared to move forward. So you would think things are really starting to trend in that Oklahoma and John Mateer are going to be as one when they go out there with the offense first team. If not, I still think, and I'm going to just tip my hand here, I still think Oklahoma's the team to beat, even no matter who's at quarterback on Saturday. And that's not a home. I don't think that's a homer take. I think most people outside of Josh Payton, JD Piquel have picked Oklahoma to win. So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll
Clemma
see though.
14 tosses $2 and asks, what's the latest on Owen Hollenbeck? He's redshirting. I mean, true freshman. Not a shock there. Fasusi and Foje were the two guys that coming in thought, okay, like those guys are going to have a chance. They're going to have a chance to play, and they both have played all 5 games. So, well, not Fasusi. Fasusi sat out Temple, and I guess sat out Illinois State as well. But when those guys have been available, they have played this season.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Hollenbeck and Darius Afalava, those two guys are redshirting, and I think that's for the best. Um, the Green Arrow 82 gave us $5 and asked, what will it take for Bill to get the O-line playing with attitude and physicality like previous lines? Well, some continuity would help.
Yeah, not being injured
That
all the
would
time.
certainly help. But also, man, like you need individual consistency, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that hasn't really been there to this point in the season. Now, I will say that line has stepped up when they've needed to step up. They've played their best 2 games of the year against Michigan and against Auburn, which is when they needed to be at their best.
Yep.
But Man, Derek Simmons has been up and down. Fabechi Wiwu has been up and down. Again, Michael Fasusi was unavailable for 2 games. He's been pretty solid when he has been available. You had Eddie Pierre-Louis start the season opener at left guard, but ever since it's been Heath Ozida, and he's been pretty solid. And Jake Michaela has come on nicely at center. The question is, would you consider any of those guys to be elite offensive linemen right now? Probably not. I would argue maybe the closest one to it is Michaela, but even so, man, like they're just I don't think they've played their best ball as a unit yet, and I don't think any one of those guys has played their best ball as an individual yet. So it's going to be about getting it all to come together at some point, ideally this week on the practice field, because you'll want to put your best product out there against Texas.
Yeah,
This
it's
feels
really
like this feels like more of a must-win game for Texas, obviously. But man, even if this isn't a must-win game for Oklahoma, boy, is it the game that you would most like to win on the slate the rest of the way,
is
as it
it
pretty much always is.
there's this notion right now that it's a more of a must win for Texas because they're 3-2.
Well,
I
yeah, I mean,
would
Texas's season is over if they don't win. Like,
right, but they have other rivalries, right? You got the Arkansas, you have Texas A&M, like they've got other games that are viewed. And no, I know it's not viewed the same light as OU Texas. I get it. I get it. Um, and this means more just from a sheer aspect of you start 3-3, you're probably not going to make the playoffs, right? You're just not going to. They don't have the schedule to help them out like Oklahoma does. Um, but I thought Barry Tremmel said something interesting. Like this is all Oklahoma has as far as rivalries go now, Parker. They went from Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Texas to just Texas,
yep,
and that's
true.
it. This is what they're here to play for every year. Like as far as like rivalries go, is the big game for them. So this no to me that notion that oh well it means more. No, this means a ton to Oklahoma because they don't have anybody else to lean on right now.
Mhm.
It's Texas or bust for Oklahoma.
Adam Peppel. I'm going to say Peppel. That's my guess as to his last name pronunciation. He tosses $10 and said, "What's up, guys? For the game this weekend, do you anticipate we see more Helms at tight end, or what are the thoughts as his catches were limited?" Yeah, he just caught the one pass in his season debut against Kent State, but it went for a touchdown. So good on him. That was a fun moment for a guy that's been through a
Mhm.
lot at the University of Oklahoma. But here's what Brent Venables specifically mentioned about Caden Helms after the game on Saturday. He said that guy is a really good blocker, and he's gotten better as a blocker.
Mhm.
He came in as a good blocker, he's gotten better. And so this is the type of game, Brandon, and this is the type of matchup where you would like to have a tight end out on the field who can block. And
Yep.
so Jaron Canick's going to play a lot of snaps, no doubt about it. I don't know how much of Jaron Canick's snap count Caden Helms is going to eat into, but I think he's going to eat into it some because he can block. And Jaron Canick, man, really dynamic weapon at the tight end position. He's been a field stretcher. He's been a guy that John Mateer has looked to in gotta have it situations, third downs, play breaks down. Like he's looking Jaron Canick's way. We've all seen that. But as a blocker, he's been inconsistent. So, given that that is what Caden Helms has demonstrated he's good at, I think you're going to see more of him on Saturday. How much? We'll see. I think that's largely dictated by game flow, but that is someone that I would imagine you will see on the field for more than a snap or two Saturday.
Yeah. No, OU needs to get the run game going. I think that's a given. And anything you can do, look. I think Jaron Canick's a really good player, Parker. You and I both think he is one of the better tight ends in college football as far as a route running, pass catching, big play type guy. However, I just look at that reverse against Kent State where he literally just laid a dude through. And that's not the first time that's happened, right?
Yeah.
I think he's still learning, the footwork aspect of the tight end and run blocking. He's learning the hand placement. He's learning all the intricate details that are boring to a lot of people. He's still learning those things. And that's unfortunate. The good news is he's such a great athlete that it's probably going to carry him in. People are going to be patient with him in the NFL and beyond because of his athleticism and his ability to run after the catch. So, um, be that as it may, I agree with you, Parker. I think Helms probably gets not a huge chunk, but I wouldn't. What do you think? 20 snaps, 25 maybe total. You think
That's
that's a
fair.
little?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, like here's the thing. I don't know how many snaps they're going to be in this game for Oklahoma offensively. Like this feels like the type of game where it's going to be a slugfest.
Right.
And so maybe in all likelihood, I would say you probably get fewer snaps than your average football game at the University of Oklahoma when you have the two top defenses in the country going head to head.
That's
I,
fair.
I I would think, it's not going to be a particularly rapid pace of play. Um, Showtime 409 gave us $5. Thank you, Showtime. And he said, Parker, thanks for all your help with my surprise anniversary trip. Yes, sir. Did Brent chew the O line out for the Kent State performance from your favorite EA employee? Well, Brent Venables evidently chewed everybody out because Kobe McKenzie said that he ripped into us at the leadership meeting because 44 to nothing wasn't good enough, isn't good enough. And so
I love it.
I
I'm here
look,
for
you
it.
have to love it because I mean, and we all saw the same thing, I think, on Saturday. Like it was a fine performance from Oklahoma on both sides of the ball. It could have been 65 to nothing if Ben Arbuckle wanted it to be. But it was 44 to nothing. Were there some areas in which Oklahoma could certainly have improved upon? Absolutely. And no doubt, Brent Venables wants his squad playing their best ball and their cleanest ball this Saturday in the Cotton Bowl. And so, what does that mean? It means he's going to be faithful to the little details and making sure his team has the little details down.
Not only is Brent Venables chewing out his leadership and chewing out basically everybody within sight right now, he's taken a page out of the Bob Stoops playbook pre OU Texas and reaming the media on top of it. And the sass and the intensity in which he has portrayed even after the 44-0 win tells me that he is not going to let anybody get complacent. This is what OU fans have wanted. This is what they're looking for. You go back to 23, Parker, after OU Texas, right? They play UCF and they almost blow that game. And then the very next week, what happens? They lose to Kansas, right? Granted, I believe they were up before Danny Stutzman got hurt, right? But the complacency, he's not going to let it creep in this time, Parker. He knows he has an elite team because the defense is so good. I don't think he's going to let that be squandered at all.
$10 from my man Jesus Saves. That's Martin Chase,
Yep.
OU legend.
The
Martin
great
Chase.
Martin Chase.
Parker Brandon, does Arbuckle give Lincoln play calling vibes? When we're playing physical, he calls a play that you scratch your head at. We lose our rhythm. Is that a trend that you've picked up on, Brandon?
Okay. Delicate wording here. I don't get the Lincoln vibe at all. I think sometimes he tries to be a little creative because he's a creative play caller. The reverses, I think, have come sometimes at ill placed times. I think we can look back. How many times has Deion Burks or Satania got a reverse and it's lost yards after a couple of big plays have happened? This year, two or three, right? You can think of on top of your head. Temple,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously last week against Kent State. I believe Michigan, Satania on a reverse, right? And I believe Burks even game one against Illinois State that took place as well. So I think four times. But I don't think you can look at it. I think that because of how many yards were lost, I think it sets in people's minds. And they're like, oh, well, this is a recurring fact. more often than not, 99% of the time, his play calling has been really good.
Yeah, and here's what I will say on that note. I think, matter of fact, I know Ben Arbuckle's been sandbagging a little bit through the first 5 games. You're going to see some stuff against Texas that you have not yet seen this
I
season.
totally agree with that. Yep.
There's going to be a lot of creativity that, again, you have not seen to this point.
It's gonna be a a very. I think you're going to see some creative plays go for big chunks, and I don't think it's just going to be OU. I think Texas is going to get away with some of those because they have to do it. They
You got to
have to
think
do it.
about you got to think about the boxes that Ben Arbuckle has checked through 5 games. Keep it vanilla, beat an inferior opponent handily. That's a box checked. Come up with a slow burn drive that absolutely drains the clock in the fourth quarter when you're ahead.
Michigan. Yep.
That's a box checked. Come up with a game winning drive when the situation calls for it. That's a box checked against
Yep.
Auburn. And so I think this is Ben Arbuckle's next big test. And I think this is actually the most significant test that he's faced so far at Oklahoma going up against Texas on Saturday because let's call a spade here. Texas has an elite defense.
They do.
He is going up for the first time in his career at Oklahoma against an elite defense. So for one thing, can you pick apart an elite defense with your scheming? And B, can you stay within the bounds of convention such that you're not getting your own guy's brain scrambled while also being creative enough with your play calling that you can give the opponent looks that they haven't seen on tape. And so like obviously you can't go full kitchen sink in a game like this.
Hmm.
But you're going to have to deploy some wrinkles, some nuances that haven't shown up on tape to this point in the season. So how do you balance that if you're Ben Arbuckle? Again, I don't know. We'll find out on Saturday, but based on the boxes that he has checked to this point in the season, I feel pretty good about it.
Do we? So, do we not consider Michigan and Auburn elite defenses at this point?
They are good defenses. Texas's is elite.
Okay.
$5 from Chris Tull. College game day is going to Oregon and Indiana. Will the OU Texas game be more or less significant by season's end than the Oregon and Indiana game?
I think it'd be more significant. I don't know.
Well, okay. To the neutral observer, to one that has no partiality to any of those 4 teams.
What's Indiana's schedule look like? That's going to be based on my answer. I need to know what their schedule looks like remaining because I think that's going to dictate whether I believe it or not because I don't know how bad they lose this game, Parker.
Well,
That's
yeah,
that to
I
me
think
is
Oregon
gonna
beats I think Oregon beats Indiana. I
okay.
would say the majority of us are in agreement on that. But here's what's going to go a longer way towards determining the answer to that question. Who wins the OU Texas game? Because if OU wins the Red River Shootout this weekend,
Yeah, it loses
odds are this
yeah.
game isn't looked upon as a terribly significant one by season's end because
Correct.
Texas's season is over. It's get ready to learn Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl, buddy. That's what it becomes.
That's for a little.
If Texas wins, then that becomes hugely significant because it keeps them afloat in the college football playoff conversation and it drastically reduces Oklahoma's margin for error the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So I think it's as simple as who wins the football game.
I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair. As far as significance go, regardless of game day being there or not this weekend, I think yeah, it's cool game days there, but where is the A crew going? And I know Indiana and Oregon are going to be CBS. I get that, right? Paramount. However, where's Herb Street and Fowler going to call the game after game day? Or they're actually Herb Street's leaving in the middle of game day to go to Dallas, Texas. By the way, So that to me shows the significance of the game, period. Doesn't matter the rankings of the teams. I think this game is just viewed as elite across the board, no matter what in college football.
A $50 contribution from Tyler Claiborne.
Tyler, the man,
Man,
thank
thank
you
you,
so
Tyler.
much.
We appreciate
Wow.
it. How do you guys think Oklahoma's wide receivers match up against the Texas secondary?
Well, Malik Muhammad's probably going to play.
He is
So
probably
that,
going to play, but
yep,
he is banged up.
he is banged up.
It's worth noting.
He's really good.
He is really good, man.
He's really good. It's really,
Yeah, he's a really talented cornerback.
I remember going to South Coast Clip and interviewing him in high school, and he was always a Texas guy, right? He was a really good basketball player. That shows you how good of athlete he is. He was a really good, on like a state championship level basketball program at South Oak Cliff. He's a freak. As far as just how they match up, I think the one thing that's going to help Oklahoma's wide receiver unit, Parker, speed, 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 because you have obviously Deion Burks, you have Isaiah Satania, right? I think some of the young guys for Oklahoma can fly a little bit. Um, if you can get Keontez Lewis healthy and he's healthy, obviously it's not a lower body thing, so I don't think speed's going to be a problem for him. If he's healthy enough to play, I think overall to Oklahoma, just with their experience, right? I think their experience plays into it big time. I think they're bigger than the secondary of Texas. So I think that plays into it. And I think they're just fast. So the matchup, I think it's the other side that I worry about more than anything else. It's OU's corners versus Texas's wide receivers. Are they going to let Ryan Wingo get behind them? Like, that's a question mark. If there's one with Oklahoma, that's the question mark. Do you not agree with that?
No, I
Texas likes
certainly
to take
agree.
shots, man.
I certainly agree. I think for Oklahoma, what's going to be crucial is getting speed in space.
Yeah, and Giovanni Gibson
Getting your
too,
best playmakers in space. Getting Deion Burks and Isaiah Satania some room to maneuver. Because then I think that's where Texas becomes vulnerable. If you go right at them with speed and space, then I can get them back on their heels a little bit. And at that point, things open up quite a bit for Oklahoma offensively. I think if it's an asset that you have, and it's certainly an asset that Oklahoma does have, then you got to lean on. And it's a different type of speed than Oklahoma had last year in this matchup, right? Like, yes, technically Zion Reagans and Brennan Thompson are both speed guys. But when that's really the only dimension to your passing game is, well, we got these two fighter jets that are going to roll down the field vertically, and we can hit him in stride, great. If not, then we're screwed. Then, okay, that's not really a sustainable recipe for success. But as long as Oklahoma can run the ball effectively between the tackles, as long as they can get the quarterback run game going with either Mateer or Hawkins, and as long as that offensive line plays well, then I think the wide receivers will be able to piece together a day against that Texas secondary. Ha Bazinga gave us $5.
Love it.
How many times does Arch get sacked? Also, what is your favorite game day food / snack? Keep up the great work, boys.
Ooh, how many times does Arch get sacked? So this was a question on my VIP chat on OU Insider VIP today, and it's going to go on and all the way up to game day. I always have it going on Wednesday through Saturday. I said if Oklahoma can get 3+, I like their odds of winning. I'll say they get. I'll say 5.
I was going to say 4.
Yeah, I'll say 5.
In either case,
4
I
was
think
going to be my number, but I was going to say 4.5, but 5. I'll say 5.
that bodes well,
Yes.
regardless of whether you get to 4 or 5. Like if you're in that ballpark, that bodes well for your chances to win the football game, I would say. Favorite game day food / snack? That is a good question. See, when we're covering games, we have the exact same thing every week. We have Chick-fil-A. Is that what they feed you guys up in the press box?
They feed us the chicken sandwich.
Okay, yeah. So
I
it's the
take the
same thing.
pickle off and I go to town
Yep.
on that and the
It's
and
always it's
and
always
the
just a standard Chick-fil-A box
yep,
meal. You get a sandwich, you get your waffle chips, you get a cookie. You
yep,
go grab a bottle of water, and that's the
yep,
meal that we get
yep.
at Owen Field. Now, I will say, generally, my rhythm prior to games is I will get done with pregame radio. This is for home games specifically. On the road, it could be a variety of different things, just depending on what the particular slate holds that day and our general path into the stadium and timeline for arriving at the stadium. But for home games, I will get done with pregame radio. I will go to HTO. I will get a bag of those watermelon Smart Sweets candy, and I will get myself a green tea, a blueberry green tea, and I drink
Like it.
that on the drive-in.
I'm not a big green tea guy. I'm a just strictly Southern sweet tea. That's a Nebraska in you right there, man.
I
That's
don't
a
think that's
Nebraska.
the Nebraskan in me. I think that's just a preference for green tea. I like black tea as well. I mean, I'll drink standard tea like a Southerner, sweet or unsweet.
Fair enough.
Far more of a preference. Well, generally I go half sweet. I don't. Sweet tea is just a lot of sugar. Unsweet tea has virtually no
Half
flavors.
sweet. Why have I never heard of half sweet before?
Half sweet, half unsweet.
Oh, you
Yeah,
make.
you
Oh, you're
just
talking about out of the. Okay,
yeah,
got
you
you,
just kind
got you,
of
got you. I got you. I
uh-huh.
feel you now. Okay,
And that's actually what I do with my green tea when I'm at HTO. I get it half. So I fill half of it with unsweet green tea and the other half with sweet blueberry green tea.
fair enough.
That's the secret sauce. Clemma 14 gave us $2 and asked, "What is the status of Heineke's injury?" Owen Heineke's fine. That injury is several weeks in the rearview mirror. So he played last week.
Yep, we're
He's
good
gonna he's
actually.
gonna be
Yep.
a go for Texas. He's not on the availability report, so nothing much to be worried about there. Denton Russell gave us $5 and said, "With the chemistry of Mateer and Gibson, I feel a breakout game for Gibson."
I
Wouldn't that
hope
be
that would
great,
be
Denton
awesome. It
Russell?
would,
I mean,
just for a kid. Yep.
historically speaking, have a breakout game from a wide receiver in the Cotton Bowl tends to go well for you. Think back to 2020. That was the Drake Stoops coming out party.
Mm-hmm.
2023, you know who had the game of his life in 2023? Jalil Farouk. Jalil Farouk played his best game as a Sooner that day. Nobody remembers that, but he did.
He did. 2021 Marvin Mims has entered the chat. Um,
Yeah, but he had kind of already broken out before
yeah, as
that.
a freshman, but that game was like to America found out who he was that game with those
Fair.
two catches. Yeah.
SBC Bates gave us $2. What are the odds that Ott sits and Barnes plays? Jaden Ott ain't sitting. Jaden Ott's going to play Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Ott will see the field.
And I'll just tell you what, trying to word this delicately as well. I suspect they're going to try to get him and Blaylock in a good rhythm this game. Just my gut. Just like they did last game. They could have played X. They could have thrown Barnes out. They did not. They went with two running backs. They stuck with those two running backs and they let those two running backs rock the whole game.
Lee Bird, $2 from him. He just says Kung Fu Canic from Kansas. Shout out to
Love
Lee,
it.
who himself lives in Kansas, I do believe. Thanks for tuning in, Lee. Mister, do I look like I give an F? Gave us $5. And asked if Mateer doesn't play on Saturday, what's the likelihood that Michael Hawkins loses his red shirt this year again? Would that push him to transfer at the end of the year? Um, Everybody involved would like to preserve Michael Hawkins' red shirt if possible. That
Mm-hmm.
said, Michael Hawkins rides for the University of Oklahoma. And so if Oklahoma needs him to burn his red shirt in 2025, he will do it without hesitation. If he plays against Texas on Saturday in any capacity, that will be his third appearance of the season. You can have four in the regular season. Postseason action no longer counts. So four plus however many postseason appearances, and you're good. You can take a red shirt. So ideally, regardless of what happens on Saturday, John Mateer is healthy for the remainder of the SEC slate, and Michael Hawkins doesn't need to play again for the remainder of the season. And he can take that red shirt and he can preserve that red shirt in 2025. But again, if it comes down to it and Oklahoma needs Michael Hawkins to burn the red shirt, he will absolutely do it. No questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, his all you got to do is follow his dad on Twitter if you don't know how deep they are rooted in Oklahoma and how much they love the university. That kid will do anything and everything for the university. So,
Yep. Colin Ward, $2 from him. How big is Giovanni Gibson's role in this game? You're going to see him a lot more. This will be, he was on a pitch count last week. He played 23 snaps. He'll be on the field more than 23 snaps this week. I mean, unless he comes out of the gate, drops a couple passes, and gets benched. Like, as long as he doesn't do anything to sabotage his opportunities, you will see a ton of Jaden Gibson on Saturday.
like I said, I hope he freaking balls out just because the kid deserves it. You talk about everything that he went through. I mean, I root for that type of stuff. That's why I hope he has a big game. So,
Jonna May Myrick, $20 from her. Thank you, Jonna May. Do you think Guillory or Bowen start? I'm assuming Gentry will be on the other side. My expectation would be that it's Gentry Williams and Eli Bowen. Cortland Guillory has had some struggles as of late, and Eli Bowen is Eli Bowen. And if you've forgotten who Eli Bowen is, go back and watch last year's OU Texas game because there were two dudes that legitimately certifiably played well that day for Oklahoma. Luke Elzinga, the punter, who was awesome and punted a lot that day, and Eli Bowen.
yeah.
Eli Bowen's still a freshman All-American coming back, folks. And I would say it's probably him and Gentry getting the nod at cornerback Saturday.
Yeah.
You'll still see Guillory a lot, obviously, but those will be the two guys that trot out there for the first snap, I do believe. Williams and Bowen.
Did you notice during Kent State that they didn't play Gentry all that much?
No, they didn't.
They just kind of let Bowen go out there and get some reps right and get his legs back underneath him a little bit. And it looked like they were just preserving, like they weren't going to let any chance Gentry even having any ding or anything happen to him. It's like, no, brother, I need you for Texas. Let's go ahead and set this one out. You're good. So
Robert Lee, Bobo 5000, gave us $5 and said, tell me what we know about Gabe Sawchuk. Not overreacting, but I liked that last run.
he's Gavin Sawchuk's brother. He was a really good player in high school. He walked on at Oklahoma while also having like half scholarships at like Ole Miss was wanting him really bad. He had full scholarships at Colorado State. USC had offered him. A bunch of programs offered him full rides. He chose Oklahoma to go. This is the crappiest situation about the whole Sawchuk situation with his older brother. He came to Oklahoma because his family loved OU, chose to walk on as a preferred walk on, and then have that whole situation happen. One of these days we can dive in the whole Gavin Sawchuk deal, but this is neither here nor there.
Hard not to look over your shoulder a little bit right now at Gavin Sawchuk doing what he's doing at Florida State.
No doubt.
Man,
He's having a hell of a year. Yep.
that would be a nice guy to have in the OU backfield right about now.
Let's just say there's some people around the program that are going, damn.
Now, we
I'll
also
say
have
that.
to we have to be fair with this as well. He did not look good last year.
Nobody did, though.
Yeah, he did not look good until the Navy game. And
That's
so
fair.
at the time, even if you disagreed with the decision, it felt somewhat understandable. But now that he's doing what he's doing at Florida State, yeah, really, really hard to watch from afar if you're an OU fan.
Everybody wants to play DeMarco Murray. This is not a DeMarco Murray thing. I'm just letting everybody know. Nope, nope,
Yeah,
nope,
no,
nope,
then
nope,
no.
nope. We'll leave it at that.
LaDonche Tay Johnson gave us $2. and asked, "What's going on with Taylor Tatum?"
That's kind of the antithesis of the Gavin Sawchuk deal, right? Like, I like how you're not either you froze or okay, you didn't freeze. Okay. I was like, you're just letting me answer this one. The same things that last year. He still has some maturing to I don't even know if he loves football. I think he loves baseball. That's my gut. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my gut. And by the way, there's people saying they don't believe us at all that it was, um, you know, they don't believe us at all that it wasn't DeMarco. It wasn't DeMarco. I promise you
Mhm.
that. And also Big J homie, yeah, the stall chuck, yeah, he has 281 yards. He's sharing with two other running backs and still has 281 yards. And I think he's averaging like 5 yards a carry or something to that extent. Some-
281 yards would lead all OU running backs right now.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, and he's sharing reps. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. So hey,
You know who else is neither here nor there? Taylor Tatum.
yeah,
He's
again,
invisible right now.
yeah, again, just like last, it's like last year, just like last year. The emotional, the mental maturity still has to happen. Do you, I'm going to ask you, do you think he loves, are you like me? Like, do you think his full heart is in football or you think he likes baseball a lot as well or more than football?
I've I've had
That's a tough
enough.
question to answer. I
Yeah,
know.
it is, and I've had enough conversations with sources close to the program that it does make you wonder if the passion
Yep.
for football is there. You can't help but wonder. Um,
Correct. By
and
the way,
look,
real
ultimately,
quickly,
like you got to earn your keep on the practice field. You want to
yep.
see the field on Saturdays, you got to earn it on the practice field. And if you're not seeing a guy on Saturdays and he's not hurt, well, he hasn't earned it on the practice field in all likelihood.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just want to thank all the OU fans and whoever else is on this with us right now. We're at 3.3 thousand people watching right now. Blessed. We love it. We thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for doing that. And because of that, obviously, I got to do a real quick ad read for our sponsors at SeatGeek. I know you guys are looking for tickets for this weekend's OU Texas game. If not that game, I know some of you Sooners fans want to make sure you see the SEC home games of Ole Miss, Missouri, or LSU. Heck, you're probably even looking a little bit of ahead to that SEC title game, seeing those tickets in advance as well, which is why I want to give a huge shout out to one of our sponsors of today's show, SeatGeek. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the number one rated ticket app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. SeatGeek is the official marketplace for all of Oklahoma Sooners. So all Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure. I love using SeatGeek. I use it several times to take my family to go watch the hometown professional basketball team this past spring as they were on their way to winning the title. SeatGeek is not just a place to buy tickets, but it's also the place to go and check if you're getting a good deal or not on your purchase. So if you're wondering if you're spending too much or being overpriced on a ticket, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots, green means good, or red dots, which mean bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. After we tell you all that, all those cool features of SeatGeek, of course, we have a code for you guys. So make sure you use the code Insider10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any ticket with the promo code Insider10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it for later. Thank you, SeatGeek. All right, Parker, let's talk recruiting. I
Let's
know
do it.
you fans want to talk some recruiting. Um,
Oklahoma has 20 commits right now in the 2026 cycle.
Yep.
I will go on record with this prediction. I think by the end of the month, they have no fewer than 22.
Yeah. I would probably agree with that. I think they're in a really, really good spot for some. Let's just say they're in a good spot for at least one 4-star,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
not
like we
more.
can, and we can name names here. They're in a good spot for Jacob Curry. They're in a good spot for Daniel McMorris. Curry, of course, the 4-star linebacker from the state of Florida. McMorris, the 3-star offensive tackle from right down the road at Norman North High School. I think OU is the team to beat. And I don't think that's a secret at this point for those two. It it would be surprising if Oklahoma wasn't able to close the deal on those two recruitments.
Yeah, so how do you feel about, did you talk about the wide receiver, Milan Paris, at all?
I did not reference Milan
Sorry.
Paris just now, no.
I was getting back to Big J homie. Everybody's like, why don't you just say the Oklahoma City Thunder? And I was like, I can't say it during the ad read. It's a big no-no. So but yeah, Milan Paris. I was actually talking to somebody last night that they feel fairly good. There are some people that think Milan Paris could be one of the top 10 wide receivers in 26. Like they think he's that talented. Which kind of tracks with Oregon and Miami coming after him. Kind of tracks.
I like Milan Paris a lot.
Yeah.
I have liked him a lot for a long time. I'm glad Oklahoma made the decision to get involved because kind of like our Mason Thomas, first thing I ever thought when I watched Milan Paris's tape is, holy smokes, how is this kid committed to Iowa State?
Yeah. You know what? Just like our Mason Thomas. I mean, it's just like I think, and this is, I've actually been told this by a couple of people that there are a lot of people around college football that wait and see who Iowa State goes after. And then they start to look into those players because they are one of the best evaluating staffs in all of college football. Period. Um, I know people are like, well, does Oklahoma do that? They do not. However, there are a lot of people that believe Oklahoma's staff is one of the better evaluating staffs in all of college football. Again, go back to that Matthew Nelson eval, Parker. That one was looked at by so many people as such a weird offer to begin with. And now Georgia, Alabama, LSU, everybody's going after the kid.
Mhm.
He's a really good player. Um, so I don't know. The Milan Paris thing, if they can pull that off, I just think when you're dealing with NIL juggernauts like Oregon, Miami, it gets a little difficult. So that rolls us over into, does Oklahoma have more than one wide receiver they're looking at to flip? Do they go after anybody in the North Carolina since they like to recruit that North Carolina, South Carolina region? There are several players that I went looking through their thing. I was like, that would be a good pickup. That would
I
be a
mean,
good pickup.
hold on just a second here, Brandon. Less than an hour ago, UNC football released a joint statement from Bill Belichick and AD Bubba Cunningham, in which Belichick said, and I quote, I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here. And Bubba Cunningham said, Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics and the university. So, shoot, what are we to conclude? But no, in all seriousness,
Yes.
yeah, in all seriousness, right now, I don't know that Oklahoma has a ton of needs if and when they lock down Jacob Curry and Daniel McMorris. I think wide receiver is the one that jumps out at you, and like Milan Paris would be awesome. Either him or Jaden Petit is a major win for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Major win. If they get them both, if they get them both, that's the best wide receiver class Oklahoma's signed since 2019.
Mm. You think?
I do.
I'm trying to remember all the.
Okay, so 2020, you had Marvin Mims, DJ Graham, Trayvon West.
Mm-hmm.
in 2021, you had Jalil Farouk and
Mhm.
Cody Jackson and Mario Williams.
I mean, on paper, that was an elite class. Elite.
We would be talking about five guys at that point, though.
I know, but those were three top
Xavier
100 players.
Okafaleze, Braden Allen, Daniel Odom, Jaden Petit, Milan Paris. I mean, Petit and Paris are two of my absolute favorite wide receivers in the
Studs.
country.
Studs. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying on paper, Cody Jackson was like the 50th ranked player in the country. Jalil Farouk was like top 130 or whatever. And I believe, and somebody can go fact check me on this. And I believe Mario Williams was top 100. At least he was for a long time.
Yeah.
All those guys, all three of them, they were at the Future 50 because I was there in Orlando. So um, that was the day that Caleb Williams got the offer too from Oklahoma after Brock Vandegrift decided he was going to decommit from Oklahoma on, I believe it was New Year's Day, right?
It was thereabouts. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, 27, by the way, they're going to have this 27 is going to be, I think, where Oklahoma goes head to head with Texas more than they have at any point in time, probably the last 3 years.
Really?
You got to think Crew Jones, right?
Sure.
You have Outhouse, Jerry Outhouse. And this is just off the top of my head. Obviously, McQuarrie was Texas was after him. You have oh my gosh.
McCreary wasn't really an OU Texas battle, though. That was OU.
No, but I mean, like they were recruiting. I'm trying to think of oh my gosh, Zane Rowe, um, another one. Um, and I'm just off the top of my head here, like I'm
Yeah.
just spitballing here, but there's some other guys down in the Houston area, right? That Oklahoma and Texas are, but I think there's probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 guys, but that's more than normal because Oklahoma has really been nitpicking some national. They've been going to Kansas, Missouri, right? Arkansas to go after some guys. They're really starting to hit that DFW area hard again, which is good,
Yeah.
really good.
Um,
Got a couple
couple,
super chats.
yeah, three of them actually. Freddie Downing says, no question. Thanks for all you guys do. Headed to the game for the first time this weekend, which sounds
Oh,
crazy to say,
awesome.
but Boomer
Congrats.
Sooner from Austin. LOL. Love that, Freddie. Hey, would you grab me a baker's dozen of those chocolate chip cookies from Pete Terry's? I'll pay you for them. If you can bring them to the Cotton Bowl, I'll give you a hefty tip for your services.
There you go.
I don't know that I'm going to make it far south enough this weekend to be able to grab them. Man, those cookies are prime, elite. Blake Mangum gave us $5 and said, I'm getting so freaking tired of people acting like he is coming back from an ACL tear, and it is a risk to come back. I don't think much worse can happen. Yeah, and look, end of the day, we're talking about a thumb, which is crucial, right? Like you need a thumb to be able to grip the football, but probably runs less of a risk, all told, of re-injury or aggravation,
Jared Goff
unless
did it,
unless Texas goes out of their way to try and hit John Mateer in the hand.
which
Which
hmm, saying they're not going to is naive. I'm sorry. They're going to go out of their way to do. Say it's part of the game. Oh, you would do the same thing to Arch Manning if he had such an injury. But Jared Goff had a very similar injury and came back after 13 days. And I believe he won a playoff game, Parker. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that not the year that he took the Rams to
I
the
couldn't
Super Bowl?
recall. I couldn't tell you.
Whatever. He still came back 13 days and played in a playoff game with a very similar injury.
Yeah, re-injury isn't something that worries me a ton with
Yeah.
John Mateer's thumb. Obviously, it's a non-zero chance, no question about it, but doesn't worry me a ton. Lily Taylor tosses $5 and said, Parker, love to see a Gaylord grad thriving. I'm curious if joining the SEC has changed OU's recruiting pool at large. Big 12 games seem so lame now. I think Lily and I were in the same class at Gaylord. I
That's
think
cool.
I think we're the same age. I remember my senior year, I was the outstanding senior in the broadcast journalism track, and she was the outstanding senior overall in Gaylord College. So, um, as far as whether OU's decision to join the SEC has changed their recruiting pool at large, I just think in general, I it hasn't. I wouldn't really tie it to the decision to join the SEC. I would say now that we're in the NIL era and the social media era, geography matters less than it ever has before in recruiting.
Hmm.
And so you want to have inroads in certain hotbeds, but at a certain point, you don't need to have really firmly established relationships at a lot of places because when you have a brand like Oklahoma, that kind of sells itself. And Oklahoma's staff, obviously, they're outstanding in the relational department as well. So they can make up ground there even if, they don't walk into a place like IMG Academy, for instance, and they're the number one staff that the IMG coaching staff likes to see walking in those doors. So I I think when you look at where all of the guys on Oklahoma's roster have come from, you got dudes from all corners of the United States, right? Heath Ozida from Washington, Wyatt Gilmore from Minnesota, Caden Helms and Cade McIntyre from Nebraska, Logan Howland from New Jersey. And obviously, you're going to get a bunch of Florida guys and Texas guys and homegrown Okies. But I don't know that, especially now that the front office, Jim Nagy and the front office have gotten to town, I don't really know that Oklahoma is making a concerted effort to focus and concentrate on certain recruiting hotbeds the way that they have in years gone by.
I feel like the Tampa, Central Florida area is still critical to them just because BV has such strong ties there. Um, and the athletes that come out of that region are ridiculous. So why not? But yeah, I agree with you to an extent. I just feel like they do. If you haven't, I mean, I'm sure you obviously you've noticed. Florida the last few years has been some place that they have really, really dug their roots into. Um, but outside of that, yeah, they've actually started to get back into California a little bit more too,
They
which is
have.
which has
And a
been
big part of
interesting.
that has been the addition of Stacey Ford, the new
Yeah, for
director of player
sure.
personnel. He's the guy with the West Coast ties. So that's enabled Oklahoma to maintain a little bit more of a presence out there than they had in the past. And you're starting to see that manifest. Damari DeJean, the four-star wide receiver from LA, committed to Oklahoma last month. And he's
Hmm.
one of the first five pickups in that 2027 class for the Sooners. So we had a $5 super chat from Laura Riggle. There wasn't a question attached to it, but she just threw us $5. Thank you, Laura.
Appreciate you, Lauren.
And Robert
Laura.
Lee, Bobo 5000, gave us another $5 and said, would the problem with this year slash last year's run game prevent any running back from being successful if DeMarco nor BB is the problem? Um, I guess I'm struggling to
Well, I
grasp
think
that
he's
question.
saying, I think what he's saying is that basically he's asking what the problem is if it's not DeMarco and Bill Beatenbow. And is it the players? Is it the running backs? Um, I don't. I think it's a combination of everything, though. I think you look at the injuries that they've had on the offensive line, you look at the injuries that they've had at running back, and they always come at inopportune times.
And let's be clear, like that's not a cop out answer. That's not an excuse. Like injuries are a real thing, and they've
Yeah,
affected Oklahoma's offensive line, and they've affected Oklahoma's running back room for the last
yeah,
2 years. And in the case of the running back room, even longer than that.
yeah.
And so, man, if and when Oklahoma gets to the point where they're able to establish some continuity of personnel, both with the starting five on the offensive line and with the backfield rotation, then I think you're looking at a team that starts to run the ball a lot more effectively.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I think by the end of this year, something will have changed. And I think things will start being a lot, you'll see a lot more continuity. But players like Fasusi, Fabechi, like they've got to get 100% for everything to really start clicking. But they're not. They're not 100. Like if you believe that, I got some oceanfront property in Oklahoma City to sell you because they're banged up and they're banged up pretty substantially right now. You can see it in how they're moving. So it is what it is. Real quick before we get out of here, what if you had to pick one player on offense, one player on defense that you feel like is going to have just an absurd game for Oklahoma? Who is it? Who
An
are they?
absurd game.
Like just a really good game for Oklahoma.
Hmm. I will say defensively, it's going to be the best game in a while that we've seen from Gentry Williams. I think Gentry Williams is due.
Hmm.
I think he's due for a performance that people notice. And I mean, heck, man, historically speaking, if we look back to 2023, he got up for the game that day, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was maybe his best game of the season in 2023. OU Texas. And so I think I would assume he's going to get the challenge of guarding Parker Livingston.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that. It'll obviously be either Livingston or Ryan Wingo, right? So, I mean, all of Oklahoma's defensive backs are going to be tested against those Texas wideouts. Livingston probably not going to be 100%. He had that knee injury that he suffered against Florida, but he's going to be active, allegedly. So, between him, Wingo, DeAndre Moore, the former Oklahoma commit, there are threats that you're going to have to account for.
Yeah.
But I think Gentry Williams is the type of guy that, in my mind, he's going to rise to the occasion. We're going to see his best ball, just as we did in 2023. And like just in general, doesn't it feel like for Okies, this game means a little bit more? Think about Ethan Downs, right? Like Ethan Downs had his coming out party as a Sooner in that 2023 game as well.
You're on the line of where I'm going to go defensively, but you go ahead and you finish your offense.
Okay. Offensively,
Yep.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go there. No, you know what? I won't. I won't. Too bold. Too bold. I think Jaron Kanik is going to find the end zone for the first time on Saturday. I think, especially if Mateer's playing quarterback, as I expect, we know there's a rapport there with Kanik. I think he's going to look his way a lot. And I'm interested to see who the Longhorns decide to use to defend Jaron Kanik. I'm interested to see how they address that piece of unique weaponry that Oklahoma has in their offense. And a guy that, is an undersized tight end, oversized slob, but in reality, he's just like, he's a big, freaky athlete who can stretch the field. And so I'm counting on 7 or 8 catches from Jaron Kanik. I'm counting on him being a big facet of the game plan. And with the struggles that Oklahoma has had running the ball at times this year, you would figure they're going to be putting it in the air a decent amount. And so there'll be opportunities there. Giovanni Gibson will get some looks. Satanian Burks are obviously going to get some looks, but maybe not the sexiest answer imaginable. I think it's going to be a big afternoon for Jaron Kanik.
I like it. Defensively for me, you talked about it. You said Okies tend to have big games in OU Texas. And you look back at it over the years, and that's so true. So true. So, defensively, I'm going to go with the leader of the dog pound, David Stone. I think he has a big game. I think Texas's interior offensive line is their weakness on the offensive line. I think that's where he gets after him. I think this is a game that he's lived for. You talk about a guy that absolutely hates Texas. Like, absolutely hates Texas. This dude wouldn't even take. He hates Texas. Let's just say that. Like, I don't think he ever really did. He ever really take like a deep visit to Texas outside of just maybe an unofficial or two?
Did he even take it unofficial?
I don't know that he did. I don't know. Did he ever tweet out he got offered by Texas? I don't remember that either. I do know that he would always say things publicly, even when he wasn't committed to Texas,
Mm-hmm.
how much, or committed to Oklahoma, how much he hated Texas. He grew up hating Texas. I feel like he is going to be that guy that I'm actually, he's the guy I really wanted to get this week during post practice because I think he would have had some fun with the media. It's
I
probably
think
why.
I think Mike Hauk knew a
No, he
little
knew.
better.
Mike knew. Yeah, 100% knew. No doubt. That's why Mike's good at his job. But I mean, oh, yeah. Yeah. David Stone, I think, is going to have a really big game. And then on the flip side, I um, I think Jaden Ott's going to have his breakout. I know that's bold, but I really believe it. I think Jaden Ott's going to have his breakout game. We just hit 4,100 people, by the way, watching.
Hello.
Thank you, Sooners fans, OU fans. Yeah, Jaden Ott is going to have a breakout game. You could tell as the game went on, he kept getting more and more comfortable,
See,
Parker.
I came close to throwing that take out there. I'm still not sure if I myself buy it though. If he did have a breakout game on Saturday, I mean, I would say it's as simple as Jaden Knott has his breakout game, Oklahoma wins.
For sure.
That's one of those things that I think like I don't know that you can have a Jaden Knott breakout game and wind up on the losing end.
No doubt.
Regardless, if Oklahoma wins on Saturday, in all likelihood, the MVP will be Dr. Steven Shin.
I I think OU fans in unison agree with that. Hey, real quickly before we go, Bishop Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Newark Jr.
Did you say
Info.
Delano?
Yeah, that's what it says. Franklin Delano Roosevelt,
Delano.
Delano. Okay, Delano. Okay, be that as it may. Info on offensive line. Obviously, he's talking about Jake Taylor and Jake Sexton. Jake Taylor, I don't know how long he's going to be out. He just continually gets banged up
It
somehow.
sucks, man, but
It does.
that's just a guy who's always hurt. Like that's just it is what it
Yeah.
is.
And then Sexton, obviously, and people are going to say that about Jake Sexton too, and they say it all the time about him. However, you look at it, I think Missouri, Alabama-ish game, I could see him coming back for that. That would be kind of the timeline I would have him at. So, yeah, that is going to do it for. I feel like I froze, Parker. Did I freeze on your end?
You did not freeze. No.
Okay, on my end, it just has me frozen for some odd reason. Yeah, that's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube, if you're not subscribed to whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on, if you're not subscribed to whatever Twitter page you're watching us on, whether it's Parker's, whether it's mine, whether it's OU Insider, subscribe. Give us likes, give us thumbs up, give us 5 stars. We thank you guys for all that you do. We had close to 4,200 people watching this all at once. That is a blessing, and we do it because of you guys. If you're not subscribed to OU Insider VIP, you can go right now and subscribe for $1 the first week. Plus, complimentary from OU Insider and On3, you will get the Athletic as well for a whole year. That is an awesome deal. That's essentially a 2-for-1 deal. You can go month to month at OU Insider, whatever you want to do. If you're a teacher, if you're a college student, if you're active duty, if you have a .edu email, if you have a teacher's account, doesn't matter if you're elementary school, high school, preschool, whatever, send us an email, ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you a promo code to get OU Insider for $1 a month for 3 months. That's heck of a deal. Get you all the way through, essentially get you through the season right now for $3. You get all the intel. We don't talk about 99.9% of the intel on here. Our board, there's a lot of it. There's thousands and thousands of OU fans over there already. The board is hopping. It's fun. You get to talk to Parker and I on a daily basis. News, whether basketball, football, baseball, softball, all the recruiting info on all those sports as well. We cover them all for you guys. We have it for you on a daily basis. So make sure you're over there at ouinsider.com. If you just type in ouinsider.com, it'll send you to our page. The little green button will send you to another page where you can sign up and get us and The Athletic for however long, The Athletic complimentary for a whole year. You can get us month to month. Plus, it's only $1 for the first week. Or, like I said, collegestudent.edu. Teacher's email account, active duty military account. Email us ouinsider@rivals.com. Doesn't matter where you go to school. Doesn't matter where you teach. Doesn't matter what branch you are. We thank you guys. We're just trying to help you guys out as well. So thank you for watching this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. Gregory Nemechek, he asked us our score. We will give you that, buddy, on the pregame podcast, so make sure you join that. We were going to record that tomorrow. We will have that out Friday morning for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. Make sure you go check out Jake Crane. We have a video with him. Make sure you're behind the enemy lines, post-practice blitz, all that right here on our YouTube or whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe, my name's Brandon Drum. You guys have a blessed day.